Hey, welcome. Happy Memorial Day. Mark Hinch at Fugitive. Watch the live stream with Scott Castrita, Steve Ferdine, and hope you guys had a great weekend. Thank you to all those who did not avoid the draft and gave the ultimate sacrifice. We appreciate what you've done for us and your family members. If you've lost a family member, I know some of you have. Thank you. We appreciate everything you've done for us. All right. Did you guys enjoy, Steve? I said you went up there. Do you have a relative up at Golden Gate Cemetery like I do? You went up there today?
Oh yeah, I went. Yeah, I have two uncles up buried at San Bruno, and I go every year up there on Memorial Day. It's quite a sight. All the flags they have, each grave has its individual flag. Excuse me.
Yeah, so my grandfather's actually
you got a button on your mic you can press.
My grandfather actually buried at San Bruno, also Golden Gate Cemetery. He was in the Army during World War I. Got the doughboy photo of him. He was a cook in the Army. Scott, and I know you got your own family history of the military. Obviously your son's an Afghan vet. And we appreciate everybody does for us. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a safe weekend. Scott is looking very tan. Just got back from where were we at?
I was in Italy.
He was
all right.
I was on the Malfi coast.
Dolce Vita.
I was on the Malfi coast.
On the Malfi coast. All right. Frank, here we are. We got Frank, Rewired. Yeah. Looking for Eastside Tony and anyone else. My air conditioner just popped on here. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you join the comments. Facebook, just comment. We'll see you on there. And we got a lot to talk about. So this is how it works. This is for fugitive.com, which is the website that Scott and Steve put together back in the 90s. And I'll go ahead and get that screen up here right now so we can see all that. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit behind here. But give me a second here. Let's screen 2, audio on. All right. And that's our website, fugitive.com. And Scott and Steve started this in the 90s. Now, we use this platform. This is the go-to original crime website, fugitive.com. We use our live stream and the videos we do to talk about some of these cases, but also we're all retired police officers. So we have a lot to say about what's going on. In our opinion, we try to give you a perspective of some of these videos that are out there as retired cops. And in the meantime, we're also showing you stuff at Fugitive. So that's fugitive.com. I am a private investigator. I run the website stolen911.com. If you need a private investigator, I specialize more in theft things, but we are doing some more family things here in the South Valley, Santa Clara Valley. But let's see. Scott, you had a video go viral on your Instagram.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, what happened with this the highway patrol one? That's one we're going to talk about. I had a lot of my friends talk to me about this one, and we've got this thing about splitting traffic. Motorcycles are allowed to split traffic in California, and this thing just went crazy. Yeah. And
so are there states that it's not legal to do this?
I could not tell you. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Apparently, according to a lot of the comments I saw, people were like, I can't believe you guys do that in California. I can't believe that California lets you. And one guy gets on and goes, yeah, you're probably the same person that thinks that we have too many laws and rules in California. Now you're sitting there saying you can't believe we have one that you don't. We can do something you can't. Right.
So I'm going to shock everybody right now, being the retired highway patrol officer. The motorcyclist is at fault. Okay. And that's my opinion. And we'll see what happens in the long run, but that's my opinion. And let's watch the original video on Fugitive, which we got from Caro-N4. We're reacting to it now. So let's go ahead and watch that. And then Scott, I'll let you just narrate real quick. I took your audio out, so go ahead and narrate for us.
Okay. Basically, like he said, in California, you can split lanes. See how fast the motorcycle's cut between those lanes right there. And he's coming up. You can see cars are stopping. You can see brake lights, but the motorcyclist, he decides he's just going to cruise around and he's going to go around traffic. We've all been there, especially if you drive in California. And I could speak from the standpoint also is I'm a street bike rider. I have split lanes many times. It's it is nerve-wracking. It's not, if you take it serious, if you're a serious rider, it's nerve-wracking, and there's a lot of responsibility. And as far as I'm concerned, as the rider, it's my responsibility to make sure that that lane is clear and to make sure that those cars know that I'm coming. And if you're going too fast, and I've been there where I'm splitting lanes and I have motorcycles coming up behind me, and I'm like going, they're going way faster. I'm not going to go that fast. I move into the lane, I let them by. And in one instance, I was on my way home from work, and this guy flew by me and ended up rear-ending a car. And then he got off his bike. He was okay. And he looked at me. He goes, man, did you see what that guy did? And I said, F you, you were riding like an idiot.
That's right. All right, let's break this down real quick. So the basic violation here is speeding, unsafe speed for conditions. It's the basic speed law in California. It's basically it's kind of the catch-all law, and basically it means let's read it here. Reasonable and prudent speed. This means driving a speed limit that's safe for the existing conditions. What are the conditions here, guys? What are we looking at here when we watch this video?
You see a lot of brake lights. You see
a lot of brake lights, right?
Down.
We're seeing all these cars going 5 miles per hour, maybe, brake lights on. Over here, you actually see the California Highway Patrol car with his full emergency lights on. Okay, he is coming in to do a traffic break. Apparently there was a rollover collision here. The motorcyclist is, he's going through traffic here. Look at him. He's going faster than everyone else, going right through, cutting right through, and he gets taken out by a patrol car. What is the patrol car doing? The patrol car is doing a traffic break, or round robin, some people call it. Basically, his full emergency lights are on. And what do you do, California drivers, when you see an emergency vehicle with its full emergency lights on?
You slow down or you move over.
Slow down, move over. At least stop doing your normal driving. Pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
Now, our motorcyclists will probably say, and the motorcyclists out there defending this guy will probably say, oh, he didn't see it. And it's like, okay, fine. You didn't see it. But did you see the other 20 cars around you, brake lights on? And then did you see that big gap between the cars? Right? Because shouldn't you know that maybe there's a reason why there's a gap there instead of just going into that gap at 25, 30 miles per hour?
So I'm going to tell you, as a guy that splits lanes, when I'm coming up and I'm splitting lanes like that, and I'm trying to make eye contact and everybody's side view, rear view mirrors to see that they see me. And the one thing that, if you're an experienced rider, you come up on, if you see that there's an open lane to your left like that, and you're splitting lanes on the left-hand side, you have to understand there may be a car in that lane on your right-hand side that decides that they want to move over. And if they do it real fast, they're not going to see you. So you really got to slow down where there's a break right there. There's a big break right there. And that motorcyclist didn't even slow down. He just went for it. So even if it was just a normal lane splitting, it was normal traffic, it could have been a car that decided, oh, I want to move over and get in that lane. Right. It's not that car's responsibility. It's you as a rider's responsibility to make sure that you're riding safe enough and that you're. But now, if you read the comments, and I'm telling you, thousands and thousands and thousands of comments, and I mean, people are ripping each other's throat over this. Go to our Instagram page, check out the comments. There's millions of views. There's a lot of comments. I mean, I see everything from, they said the CHP should be charged with attempted murder.
And you know what? A lot of these are, hold on real quick. A lot of these are bots. A lot of these are bots. And a lot of these are these motorcycle riders from all over the world. A lot of them have helmet profile pics and stuff. I'm looking at some of these guys. They just automatically are going to, they're out there for their crew, right?
A lot of people out there that are definitely saying, no, it was the rider's fault.
Yeah.
He was going too fast.
Luckily, he looks like he's up walking around, right? He got up and walking around afterwards like that.
Yeah.
So that's good. So a couple other things. Let's talk about just a couple other things here real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this happened southbound 280 over by Stanford University. You can see the linear accelerator if you're from the area right there. And this is on-ramp right here. And then you could see that this is the same area. This is the ramp right here. You'll see that when you see the patrol car pass by on the first shot from that Tesla footage we see, it's definitely a Tesla. He's driving up this ramp here. And then he gets onto the freeway here, and up in this area, there is a crash up ahead. So the officer starts doing the serpentine movements of back and forth, which is we know as a traffic break, right? And then he's shutting down the lanes. He's telling everyone with his lights on that, hey, you need to slow down. You need to stay behind me because of the movement he's doing back and forth, back and forth. That's what he's doing. And then that section here, right? Here we go. 21. I have to look it up. I'm an auto theft guy, so I can't remember this stuff off the top of my head. But 21806 pertains to yielding the right of way to emergency vehicles. We all know this. Scott, you and I got our driver's license in the 80s. Steve, you got yours back in the 50s. We all understand. we all understand this law that if you see lights and sirens or lights, emergency lights, blue lights, yellow lights, red lights, that's an emergency vehicle. Stop what you're normally doing. Pay attention. Okay. That's all people are asking you to do. So first of all, you see that and people don't know. A lot of people may not know that back and forth is telling you to slow down. Okay. See what this officer wants you to do. I was just in LA and I watched an officer do it. And he actually got on the loudspeaker to all of us and said, give me a minute. I want to get something out of the road. That just happened last week. So then, so that's yielding. That's 21806. And then the other one is 21706, which means you can't like tailgate an emergency vehicle when those lights are on, right? I think it says 300 feet. And it's basically a guideline, stay out of their way. All right. Slow down, pay attention, follow directions of the emergency responder. Okay. And that's what you got to do. And in this case, let's say the guy didn't see it. Okay. I don't know. Is music on? Does his helmet have his helmet view blocked to one side? Do you not see the patrol car off to the side? The Tesla camera did, obviously. Did he, with just not paying attention? Fine. But that gap for me, first of all, the speeding, that's an issue. That gap there that he drives into, there's a gap there, there. And he should realize, why is there a gap here?
Exactly.
Did his brake lights go on? I don't remember. Did his brakes go on prior to the car hitting him?
I do not see his brake lights come on, but let's watch it again.
Yeah.
But
so it's one of these things that, there's Eastside Tony. Hey, Tony, thank you. And let's see. Watch here if his brake lights go on here. And he's going to hit the gap right here.
No brake light. No,
oh, there's his brake light. He saw it. He saw it as he came into that gap. He looks to his right and right into the officer's blind spot. And he sees, he tries to hit his brakes or something. Now, I initially saw this and say right away, it's a speed issue, unsafe speed for conditions. We talked about 22,350. Some officers looked at it. I reached out to a lot of my friends who are still active CHP, a lot retired. And some of them like, well, maybe obviously 22,350 unsafe speed, but also, the officer may get some pushback from his office about, well, could you maybe not gone in at such a hard angle? I don't know. There was all these things that came up, but most of the officers agree that it's going to be basic speed issue on the motorcycle. And the good thing is that the cop car has MVARS cameras and WMVARS, I think they call it now. They have this video system that captures everything. And then look, there's a Tesla that shot this video, but I want to show you guys something else. There's several Teslas in this group right here, and all of them are going to have video like this. So in this case, the driver might have pulled over and actually, there's a Tesla. There's another Tesla up here. That's a Tesla, the other Tesla. There's two right there. They're also going to have video of all this. So a lot going on, but you guys got a big response out of this on Instagram, and it was huge. And the motorcycle stuff triggers a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody wants accidents to happen. Like I said, I mean, from somebody who's done lane splitting, it can be nerve-wracking. And from somebody who drives in California and you're just cruising along, stuck in traffic, and you're going, all of a sudden somebody comes ripping by you doing 40, 50 miles an hour when you're dead stop. You don't expect that.
Right.
You just don't expect it. And it will wake you. It's like, whoa, what was that? And the guy just zipping between the cars. And that was the other thing too, Mark. I think I had asked you this, and I had, you know, I mean, I used to commute on my bike to go to work, and I didn't even know. Like, I was always under the impression that if traffic was doing 15 miles an hour or less, I was allowed to split lanes. But that was just the rule of thumb of something that somebody told me. So I just always stuck with that. If traffic's moving at 25, 30 miles an hour, I'm not going to split lanes because there's too much of a chance of somebody changing lanes into me.
It's really meant for very stop and go traffic to be unsafely. The you know, the state of California allows motorcycles to split lanes. The Highway Patrol actually administrates that. They're the ones that kind of, you know, set the guidelines for it and administrate these issues. But but you know, you're taking a risk, and you know, yeah, someone could lane change you, even splitting a lane, and maybe could be at fault. But generally, you are taking the risk of being at fault as a motorcycle when you split lanes, because you know, if I got my music up and I don't see you coming and I put my turn signal on, now technically I'm supposed to look back, you know, and I hit you. But maybe what if you're right in my blind spot when that happened? I don't know, you know, so each case is gonna be a case by case. And, you know,
can I throw my 2 cents in on this?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I want to piss off everybody here.
Okay.
But
Steve Ferdine at fugitive.com. Go ahead.
In my humble opinion, lane splitting should not be legal to start with. And as I see this video, I see that motorcycle as he's clearing the traffic, and that highway patrol car is on the far right lane, and he's doing his serpentine motion there, and he moves over to the left, and he sideswipes the motorcycle. He wasn't anywhere near the lane that the motorcycle was in. He was way over to the right. He was on the far right lane. And again, after I saw this, I could not find anything in the vehicle code. I went on the internet, and I spent quite a bit of time trying to find round robin or traffic break, this serpentine maneuver codified in the vehicle code. I could not find anything that makes that maneuver a legal maneuver in the vehicle code. And I think it really hangs the officer out to liability wise that every, you know, you and I, we know what that traffic break means. But if it's not in the vehicle code, you're really hanging that officer out, and it should be in the vehicle code, and then it should also be in the study manual for people when they get their driver's license.
Yeah, well, I can. What I'll tell you is that what is in the vehicle code is 21806, where you as a driver must yield to in a vehicle with emergency lights.
I understand.
That's where it is. I'm telling you, there is nothing about. No,
I'm talking about the maneuver that the officers make.
It's not in the vehicle code, because you don't need to have it in the vehicle code, because you have 21806, right?
You're making an inherently dangerous maneuver. It should be. It's just like there is the vehicle code authorizes you to go code 3, and it tells you, you know, under what circumstances you code 3. That, you know, and it protects the officer because he's going code 3, and it protects him or her.
Well, again, the way the Highway Patrol will tell you is that the vehicle code is 21806. You need to yield to emergency vehicles. You need to slow down. You need to say it's not normal. So when I would do these things,
he was not failing to yield to that emergency vehicle was on the far right lane and swerved over 3 lanes and sideswiped.
That's not the violation, by the way. The violation is 22,350 unsafe speed for conditions. The bike was going too fast to be able to react based on the traffic conditions. He went into an open gap where the cop car was controlling.
He was in his own lane, minding his own business.
What lane was he in? What lane was he in? He was not in his own lane. He was
sharing a lane.
He is in this guy's lane.
But at the point that he passed the last car, that lane is all his.
No, it's not. It is not. It is that car's lane. It is
once he passed the car,
it's that car's lane.
He's the only vehicle in the lane.
The 2 cars that control the lanes are the ones that the number 1 lane. The forward car controls that lane. That's his lane. The number 2 lane, it's that car's lane. The motorcycle is splitting. He doesn't control either of the lanes.
But once he passed the last car, he's the only vehicle in the lane.
He's not. He went into an open gap where he should have known better, going too fast.
I understand that.
Okay, well there it is. It's simple.
But once he passed the last car, isn't he? He's the only vehicle in the lane.
Still going too fast for conditions.
He's not
even if he
the
did
lane
swing
anymore.
over, even if he did swing over, control the lane, he's still going too fast for conditions at that point.
Man, you guys sound just like all the people that in the comment section, man. Back and forth, arguing the same points, back and forth. I mean, the bottom line is, I'm wondering in the end how this whole thing works out.
Okay,
I mean,
I have a solution.
This all could be avoided if lane splitting wasn't what was illegal in California.
Don't you try to take our way out.
Hey, look, and Rewired says this is why motorcycle classes should be required even after 1 year of age. Okay. So I ride motorcycles. It's the biker's fault. Eastside Tony, be careful. They'll come after you. All right. So real quick. Hey, look, and I don't really follow. I haven't ridden motorcycles on the street since I was 21. So, I it's not my thing. It's not something I get a lot of stuff in my advertising directed to me at. Do any of these Dewey, Cheatham and Howe motorcycle attorney, fighting ticket attorneys, do they educate people in their ads about this? I mean, you could do a whole campaign, right? As a law firm, there goes that train, educating people about traffic breaks and round robins and splitting lanes. And then, this is brought to you by Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, motorcycle attorneys, whatever, right? So, you could get some retired, good-looking chippy. There's a couple of them out there. Maybe some guy that lives up in, some guys retired to Idaho, and now he can be the go there and talk about these laws, and they can then, educate people, right? And then someone's paying for that, the law firm, and then, maybe get some business that way. There's going to be attorneys that are going to take this up. There's going to be attorneys out there that are going to help you fight these type of tickets when officer cites you for 22,350 or 21,806 or 21,706, whatever. I have to look down and look at those codes again, right? But that's a great opportunity for some law firm to take that over and use these little clips. And maybe they're doing it because I don't ride motorcycles. Is that happening? Anybody know?
I don't know, but we all know there's a lot of
I hope
a lot of ambulance chasing lawyers out there.
So any ambulance chasing lawyers, come call Fugitive Watch so we can run your ads.
Yeah, I hope the motorcyclist is not seriously injured, and I hope the officer doesn't get dinged by the administration. And
to some of you retired chippies, man, those motorcycle guys, you guys love the way you look and stuff like that. Come on, find an attorney. Maybe you could be the spokesperson for these guys and help people, educate people, right?
All right,
save a life.
All right.
Well, no, let's keep going. Let's go. Hey, people should know, just like they should know how to handle roundabouts.
Yeah.
I hate those things.
No, the roundabouts are great. It's the ones where they put that turbo lane in the middle.
You're talking about 25 at 156. I talked to the public affairs officer the other day at the Hollister Gilroy CHP. Do you know? I didn't know this. That's just a temporary thing. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
The whole thing?
The whole thing's temporary. That's unless he was BSing me. Apparently, they're going to do a whole full flyover, and that's just a temporary fix right now. It was meant to be a 10-year temporary fix until they do a flyover.
Oh, that flyover is long overdue. Way overdue.
Right.
In California, that's a 30-year fix.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the hill extension.
How long did the 680 101 overpass there? How long was that thing a monument?
Rewired says 21 years of age, required motorcycle classes. Shout out to Russ Pacheco. Okay. So yeah, if you're a motorcycle person, get in touch with Scott and Steve. Sure, they can come up with a campaign. I know some retired chippies that would love to talk about this stuff. They love to talk about all sorts of things. So
they always think they know everything.
Exactly. It's our domain, man. We live on the freeway. The other thing too, you got to remember, cops, road cops, patrol officers, highway patrol officers, they do thousands of hours of driving. So the chances they're going to get involved in something, be it them at fault or someone else's fault, is pretty high. I mean, every night on graveyards in San Jose, we were easily putting 200 to 250 miles on our vehicles on an 8-hour shift, going from Summit down to Blossom Hill, down to, to the east side and back and forth, 3 or 4 times, depending on what's going on around the county. So you got a lot of road miles. And if you're a patrol officer, the same thing, on a beat or something like that. So, cops are going to get in accidents, things are going to happen, and a lot going on out there. All right. So remember, if you have any problems, you can reach me at Stolen 911. If you hate me, go ahead and hook me up there. And then you can find Steve and Scott over at fugitive.com. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's go. Let's go back to some fugitive stuff. What's happening here? Authorities where are we in Arkansas? Let's watch what's going down in Arkansas. I think it's right about here.
Tonight, we start with a major development in north central Arkansas where an inmate who once worked as a police chief has escaped. According to the Department of Corrections, it happened around 3:30 this afternoon at the north central unit near Calico Rock. Now, here's a look at Grant Hardin's most recent mugshot released by the Department of Corrections. He's serving sentences for first-degree murder and rape. Both crimes happened in Benton County, where he also worked as a police chief. This is surveillance video, and it shows Hardin during his escape, and you can see he was disguised wearing a Department of Corrections uniform. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says they are working closely with the Department of Corrections to find him. Here's one last look at Hardin. The Stone County Sheriff's Office says he is very dangerous, so if you do see him, do not approach him and call 911 immediately.
Wow, we're talking fugitive watch. You got an ex-chief that's a fugitive. What's up?
Yeah. How embarrassing, huh? Uncle Fester.
If you have any leads,
he look like Uncle Fester?
You can send us a tip
exactly.
at tips, TIPS at fugitive.com.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty base for it. So another thing, folks, I don't really watch these before I post them. I get a list from Steve of stuff that they've done videos on, and then you're getting my true reaction. And again, this is all our reaction to this stuff. So other than that motorcycle thing, I actually
fake reactions.
Yeah. Right. Other than that motorcycle thing, something where I'm going to get asked about what's going on there. But again, I watched the video. I think on Friday I sent it to you, Scott, right? And then you'd already seen it. And right away I'm going unsafe speed, right, on motorcycle, and then I need the reassurance of all my brethren from the Highway Patrol, and they all basically came back with the same thing.
That's a chippy catch-all, man. That's when all else fails, man. They
right.
use that unsafe.
It only takes one of us. Remember, it only takes one Highway Patrol officer to do enforcement. Regular PD, it takes about 5 or 6. Okay, so they show up in gangs of 5 or 6. Just remember that.
That's it. That's their catch-all, man. Unsafe speed.
All right, guys, got both your license plate front and rear on your vehicles, right? Correct. Okay, just making sure. No 10 either. No. All right, cool. Okay, let's move on. And I could go all day. All right, we got a woman robbed carrying gun in back pocket, and that's the difference. If you're someone who carries off duty or you're carrying a gun, that can happen, man. And
especially if you're one of those any fool can carry a gun states.
Any fool can carry a gun state. Okay, well, I'm one of those fools that can carry a gun. So here we go.
All right, let me set the stage. You're about to watch a video of a woman in Memphis walking into a gas station convenience store with a gun, just casually sitting in her back pocket. Then out of nowhere, a man walks right up behind her, snatches the gun, and takes off like it's GTA 6. She follows him out, and what does he do? He turns around and points the gun at her. Yeah, so let's roll that footage. Okay, here she is walking into the store. The gun right in her back pocket. No holster, no retention, just vibes. Now, here comes this dude. Watch him. He spot.
I mean, why? If you're a bad guy, why wouldn't you? That's all I got to say right now.
Exactly. Why not? I mean, it's a free gun.
That's it. Snatches the gun like he's done this before.
Hello.
And then bolts.
What the
She
hell?
follows him outside. He turns around, gun raised, her gun that is. Now she stops. She knows at this point this shit is real. And that could have been everything right there. In the year of our Lord 2025, why on God's green earth are people still carrying guns in their back pocket?
Because any fool can carry a gun.
Where you've got a gag.
Did you say because any fool can carry a gun?
Yep.
Okay.
In that state.
And that's
who don't see your gun as a deterrent. They see it as an opportunity. You think they're scared of you just because you got a gun in your back pocket? These kids will kill you just for looking at them wrong. They don't care about your little statement, Carrie. They'll snatch that thing off of you and then post it on Instagram like, look, free gun Fridays. This right here, this is a Springfield Hellcat Pro inside of a Vetter holster. You see this? This here? Use it.
The rest of this video, Mark, you can stop it now. The rest of this video is just this gentleman talking about how he's a Second Amendment guy talking about how you should get a appropriate holster.
Well,
you can order that holster on Fugitive Watch Amazon links, by the way.
But if you go to the next story, Mark,
I hope I have it.
No, not yet. I want to talk about that because
the next story is part of this story.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Steve. Though, real quick. Go ahead, Scott, because I got to set that up. Steve, what was it?
Go ahead, Scott.
No, I was going to remind you, Steve. Remember when you and I were in Arizona? We went to a conference there for Fugitive Watch, and we had some downtime. And we decided to go to a movie theater, and we were looking at that overweight guy with the mustard stains on his wife beater shirt, and he was in his flip flops that were all sideways, looked like they're probably about 20 years old. He wore them all the way down, and he was standing there next to his girlfriend, and we're looking at him, and he was strapped with that big old Glock on his side next to round.
Developing tonight, Metro Police arrest.
And you and I looked at him, and I go, I don't feel comfortable sitting in a movie theater with him. I said, anyway, I could walk up and take that gun away from him and beat him over the head with it. I go, I don't feel comfortable because I know that guy's not trained to stop anybody. Anybody wants that gun, they're going to just take it away from him.
Yeah,
he ain't going to do nothing.
That's what happens when you have any fool can carry a gun.
Yeah, and
go ahead and show the next story, Mark.
Zombie Cat, it's Free Gun Friday. I'm rolling. Kelly Jo, good to see you. Good friend of mine there. All right, here we go. Next story. We're going. Here we go.
Developing tonight, Metro Police arrested a man they say shot and killed someone with the victim's gun. It happened inside an AutoZone on Charleston Boulevard and Maryland Parkway. Police say a man walked into the store acting erratically and approached a man who had an open carry gun. They say the two started fighting, but the suspect was able to steal the gun and then shot and killed the gun owner. Metro officers found the suspect about a block away, and they took him into custody.
Another any fool can carry a gun state, huh?
Wow, there's happening a lot.
There's much more.
Investigators with the NTSB are
more responsibility of carrying a gun.
Say that again.
There's a lot of responsibility when you're carrying a gun.
Yeah, there is. There is. We all know that.
And these any fool can carry a gun states that there's two good examples right there, and right. I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's the thing is they take your gun away because you have no training. You're winded in less than 2 seconds. You have no ability to study any type of gun retention to keep your gun. They take your gun away, and now everybody around can become a potential victim. And I don't know. I have a problem with these. Any fool could carry a gun.
I mean, Mark. I in my career, I worked with officers that had no business carrying a gun. They were just they were mentally unprepared to use it or keep it, or how to use it. And I did not feel safe around them with a gun. And yet these states will let any fool carry a gun in their state.
How many of us in our departments have had accidental discharges go off in the offices?
I could probably on one hand count the number of officers I've seen shoot themselves.
Yeah.
At the range.
Right. Yeah. Or even in locker rooms, You would have like that.
These are trained.
Some of the ones I know are like real big gun advocate guys, and they're all about the tactics.
Most of the time, that's
so it happens. Accidents, but again, I've been around guns, my age, all my life, and I haven't had any.
I started wearing my vest even on my day off. If I had to go qualify, I would take my vest because I didn't trust the guys around me.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yep. You gotta be careful. All right, so let's do this. Hey man, speaking of law enforcement, ex-cops, this one.
Well, in both of those cases, just for the for our followers, the Tennessee case, the subject was arrested. He got identified and was arrested. And in the Las Vegas, Nevada case, he was also arrested.
Well, I don't know.
Tony, you know, Tony says I work at AutoZone, Arizona. I had my 45 on me every day, and we get it. Arizona's a state where you can do that. But Tony, you're a responsible gun owner. You went through some training, and you know how to use it. And I don't have a problem with that as long as you get the training. And I'm a big, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe that there should be a waiting period, national one, and we should. A lot of fools shouldn't be being able to just go and buy a gun. I'm sorry.
Well,
it's my opinion. Well-regulated militia, right?
There's no common sense. It's absolutely ridiculous that the state would let that lady carry a goddamn gun, excuse my language, in her back pocket. She's, you know, and that's just a homicide waiting to happen.
Would they let her do it in Idaho? I'm sorry, never mind. Different subject. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go there. All right, so let's move on to. Let's move on to this one here. And what do you guys think about Ghost 3 printed guns? Yeah, and I mean, it's an issue. They're out there. It's a reality. We all got to deal with it.
I almost feel that it's better to let people carry the guns concealed rather than having them hang out where somebody can take the gun away from them, to be honest with you. I mean, I think most people are going to be less of a danger to the public if their weapons concealed, because then some mope's not going to try to take their gun. And as opposed to having, like the guy you and I saw, Steve, in Arizona, I mean, anybody could have took his gun, and my grandmother back then could have beat him down and took his gun.
We have another example.
Tony agrees with you.
We have another example later on in the show, Mark, in Fairfax, Virginia, where 2 police officers were shot by a guy who was Virginia is any fool can carry a gun state, and he was armed with a Glock and shot 2 police officers on a car stop.
I told you my son's in North Carolina in the military, and he just went to his full CCW class, and it was not easy for him to. I mean, he had to go through the classes, and that may be going away in North Carolina, where it may go to any fool to carry a gun, just walk in and buy one. Well, which we hope it doesn't, but we'll see.
One more quick story, Steve. You remember the story we posted a few years ago, where the woman was pushing her kid around in a shopping cart, and she had her purse in the shopping cart, and her gun was in the shopping cart. What do you think? Where do you think this story is going? The little kid's in the shopping cart. He's like, what, 2 years old or something like that?
Yep.
Pulls the gun out and shoots himself in the store. And I'm like, why would you be carrying your gun? I mean, if you're going to carry that gun, then damn it, that gun better be secure on you, not sitting in a shopping cart in your purse next to your little kid. I mean, and again, carrying a gun's a big responsibility. We've done it. We've all done it for a long time. And I'll tell you, a lot of times I don't carry my gun all the time because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the responsibility of it. And so it's like sometimes it's just, you know, and I get blowback from people who go, oh, you don't carry your gun with you all the time? I go, no, man.
Because Scott's hands are registered weapons with the FBI, right? And look, FBI, you don't need to carry a gun to be a man. That's for sure, right? It doesn't mean Scott and I know people, is a weapon.
Scott and I know people who their whole purpose to move to Arizona was because he wanted to be able to carry a gun. So he moved.
Yeah,
he moved there.
Just so you could carry a gun.
His whole family moved to Arizona because I want to be able to carry a gun.
Okay, Weedwire says, I found a gun under my grandfather's bed when I was a kid. I didn't touch it, but I ran to him telling me I had a gun under his bed like he didn't know. You know, I remember, and then Eastside Tony's following the law in AZ, and a dad with $2 in and out gave me a heads up to beware when carrying open carry. So, yeah, beware. There are people that might challenge you because you're wearing a gun. And someone like that, the guy in the video, may come up and try to take that gun from you. Something to think about. You know, growing up in law enforcement in my family, with my kids are little, it was like, let's get this out of the way now. Here's the gun. Let's get your curiosity away. Cleared it. You know, the kid was old enough, you know, let him look at it, hold it if he wanted to. This is what we were actually consulted with firearms people about this. Let's get the curiosity out of the way. Okay.
Oh, it's the best.
Take the
It's
kid to the
what
range. I took my gun, my kid, the first time he shot a pistol, I think he was 6, right? Took him out to a ranch that we were all hunted at and stuff. You know, my daughter never really was too interested in it. You know, Ashley was little now, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. But he got the curiosity out of the way, you know, and then the other thing was that if you ever see one of the guns, you need to let us know, because, you know, we kept the guns out of sight and secure. But if we ever screwed up, which it never happened, you know, you let us know. Hey, Dad, I can see your gun. You know,
How did Eastside Tony know?
You know?
How did Eastside Tony know that I give Chuck Norris massages?
Hey.
But you know,
Hey,
Mark, there's just so
ever since the newspaper dried up, we have Fugitive Watch got to do whatever we can to make some money around here. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Mark, there's just so much. There's so much more to carry the gun. You know, and if you get in a gunfight, you know, do you have enough ammunition? What if you run out of ammunition? What if you run out of bullets? You know, ammunition. I mean, there's just so much to you know. You're not going to just stand there and these people think they're going to stand there and go toe to toe with somebody with a gun. I mean, there's
people are.
No.
Some people are, some people aren't. You bring a lot. If you decide to be that person to step in with your gun, you have a lot going on. A lot can happen. You know, obviously some of the cases I do around the Valley and East Side, in Oakland area too. You know, I'm a licensed PI, CCWs from my department and through the state and everything. And so, you know, I have to go into some neighborhoods, and I'm retrieving cars all the time in East Oakland by myself. You know, not going to pull on anybody if I don't have to, but I will defend myself if I have to.
But we've had, you know, you have officers that were on duty and they get into shootings, and they have to live with the fact that one of their rounds killed an innocent bystander, you know, that they didn't mean to kill.
Gotta be careful.
You know, it's just a lot of responsibility with carrying a firearm.
So I don't know anything about Scott's OnlyFans, Tony. That's between Scott and Chuck. Okay. All right. And then Rewired was telling us the story about the finding the gun. Also, Rewired was asking us about
ghost guns.
3D ghost guns, and that, you know, there's laws against it. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen though. Just like cars with illegal exhaust is going to be happening, right? So right there.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
covered license plates. Right, all those illegals.
There are laws against 3D ghost guns.
There are laws against.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
So what we think is, don't do it.
Don't do it. That's right. Okay, we're gonna move on. And guns. Wow, we should just do a whole show on guns. Probably get a lot of traffic here. All right, so let's go to man. Some police officers should not be, and I'm sorry. We all know a few.
A police officer has been charged with pretending to be disabled while dancing and drinking at a music festival, skiing, even running a 5K. Orange County reporter David Gonzalez live in Westminster on the felony charges she's now facing for the alleged workers' comp fraud. David?
Michelle, we reached out to the Westminster Police Department, but they had no comments. The Orange County District Attorney's Office calls her actions shameful, and they say the real victims are the taxpayers.
For a police officer to engage in that kind of behavior is absolutely disgusting.
Former Westminster police officer Nicole Brown faces serious prison time for allegedly stealing hundreds of thousands in fraudulent workers' compensation payments after telling her department she was unable to work due to an injury she suffered while on duty in March 2022.
She suffered a small abrasion to her head. She went to the emergency room that day. The doctor cleared her without any restrictions on duty. She took a couple days off after that and then told her department that she had been diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury by a doctor who put her on temporary disability.
The Orange County District Attorney's Office claims Brown collected more than $600,000 tax-free, including all medical bills.
She was engaged in an incredibly active lifestyle where she was running, skiing, going to Disneyland, doing all these things that she said she could not do working as a police officer.
The DA's office launched an investigation after Brown was caught dancing and drinking at Stagecoach Country Music Festival.
People who knew that she was on full disability witnessed her behaving in a way that
Were
was
you
not
there, Scott?
consistent with what she was telling her department.
Brown's stepfather, Peter Gregory Schumann, a licensed attorney practicing workers' compensation defense for insurance carriers, is charged with helping a stepdaughter orchestrate the fraud.
He was representing her at some of the meetings with the department and her case manager, where he was describing what she was prohibited from doing.
Brown is now charged with 15 felonies, including making a fraudulent statement to obtain
50
compensation.
felonies. All right, let's talk about this. So
Yeah.
I know highway patrol officers that have been busted to this. I know you guys have officers. Let me tell you a quick story. I broke in West LA in the 90s, and I was on the weekend. I went to a video conference about video production because I was a TV producer before I was a cop. So I was really still into that, still am to this day. And I went to this thing and I met a private investigator, and she was in line with me, and we're talking. There's a lot of gadgets, there are video gadgets and stuff, and the private investigators are obviously into that. And she was telling me, you know, I said, oh, I'm a new highway patrol officer here in LA or something like that. This is like 98 or whatever. And she said, oh, I'm a PI. And she goes, yeah, I worked on the such and such case. And I go, I don't know. She goes, you didn't hear about it? The CHP sergeant who was claiming workman's comp, and then she was out doing rodeos, you know, while she's, and I go, oh, yeah, I did learn about that in the academy. And she goes, yeah, it was the most famous workman's comp case out there at that time, where, you know, she claimed she had injuries, and then she was out, the private investigators go out there and videotape her taking part in all these activities, which you're not supposed to be doing. And that's been now 30 years, right? So, and I've now as a PI, I see a lot of it. And then you guys, we've all worked with people at our agencies who have been busted for this and continually get busted for stuff like this.
So I'm going to tell you something. When this story came out, and I'm not going to name any names, but there were some people that saw it, and apparently I saw what they were writing on social media, how absurd this was, and how disgusted they were in this, and how they can't believe that somebody. And I'm looking at it, and these are the same officers, and one of them was on. I remember was on disability, and won a medal in police Olympics in skiing. And I remember reading the thing when I was reading the stuff going, wait a minute, how she's supposed to be on the, how do you win an Olympic?
That's going to be easy to figure out.
How do you win an Olympic medal? Okay. And anyway, I'm not going to say their name.
What state? They live in Idaho. Do they live in Idaho now?
Okay. I think so. And then there's another one that the same absurdity, the same, and they're the biggest scammers that I knew that were scamming the department, but now they're all pissed off. And the only thing I could think of is, are they mad because she out-scammed them? But then again,
I don't know.
She got caught. But
this is our opinion, folks.
They got it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Here's another one. Before I was a supervisor, I was the admin officer for my supervisor. So I did all the timesheets. We had this one officer that could just call in whenever they wanted, and they would just, they could take a day. They had an open-ended disability. I'm like, what does that mean? It means if they didn't feel like coming to work that day, they just didn't come to work, and they called up and they took the day and they got a disability day. And I'm like, there's no such thing. And apparently there was. So this particular officer was always working extra pay jobs on their day off. I'm going, okay, so you come to work to your job 2 days a week to your normal job, then you work 2 days of overtime, and then you don't come to work at least 1 to 2 days because you take disability.
Gotta get that OT detail in, man.
And I'm
like, got to make that bow payment, bro.
Well, the thing that really, what happened was I finally went to my supervisor and I said, look, I don't want to sign these timesheets anymore because it's complete fraud. I happened to be at a festival, and I had just finished the timesheets the day before. The next day it was my day off. I go to this festival, and I see this girl, this officer walking through the festival holding a beer and a pepper steak. And I said to her, I go,
can I have a bite?
I said, is that what the doctor said is best for your headaches, a beer and a pepper steak? Yeah. I go, and that's when I went to my supervisor. I said, I'm not doing these timesheets anymore. I said, you want to let this shit happen? I go, I want to get promoted someday, and I don't want my name on signing these timesheets. And so, I mean, this stuff's been going on for a long time. I mean, we all know.
And the sad thing is that it takes away from the people, the officers, and people that get legitimately hurt and disabled and can no longer do the job, or or they have to go do something else, and this is a fraud. And when Schwarzenegger became governor in 2008, I think it was, right, or 2006, whenever it was, the big part of that was the fraud. A lot of the PIs now, private investigators, there's a lot of work in workman's comp fraud. That's kind of the cutthroat business of the PI business. They're all lowballing one another to get the gigs.
Yeah.
But there's so much work out there as private investigators to find fraud claims like this. I don't even take workman's comp stuff, but just I got my own stuff going on. But that a lot of this is out there. These insurance companies are out there and agencies are out there. Remember during COVID, they were sending private investigators out to see if people were actually how are they doing? They were working. If they said they weren't out. They said they were at home working, but they're actually out with their kids doing something during COVID or something like that. There's companies hiring private investigators to check on that or something like that. So but as police officers, man, we're not saints. We're not angels. Not all have great intentions. Nope. Fraudsters and crooks get in our line of work.
It depends.
And I have friends that only promote the good things cops do. Well, that's not reality. The reality is that just because a cop says something,
we select from society, and also it depends on the agency. Some agencies take workers' comp fraud serious, and some, obviously, after hearing what Scott's story, don't take it as serious. And I remember as a rookie deputy at the sheriff's office, some guy was on workers' comp, and I don't know how internal affairs got a hold of, but they went out to visit him, and he was pouring concrete.
Yeah,
and that was it. He lost his career, and he wound up getting prosecuted for workers' comp fraud.
Tony, we'll hire you if you promise to wear your Raiders outfit when you go out there, because that will blend in really well over there on the east side. All right. No.
Yeah. Well, we've had guys too when they've retired and they get these disability retirements, and then you see, like, I'm not, again, I don't want to say the guy's name. I'm not even going to tell you what kind of business.
What state did he retire to?
I'm not going to tell you what kind of business he's running, but the business he's running is a very you know what I'm talking about, Steve? A very active business. You got to be in really good shape to do this, right? And he's on the news because they're talking about what this great business, this retired cop is doing and what have you. And I'm watching the news. I'm going, he's on a disability retirement. What the hell is he doing? I go,
maybe he's running from his wheelchair.
Yeah,
give him another out.
Again, going back,
I just saw him at the Mardi Gras wheeling, the Mushroom Mardi Gras wheeling down the street eating a pepper steak.
Yeah, and I was always as a young deputy, I was kind of confused because I remember one time our undersheriff ran for he ran for sheriff, and he lost. Right, he lost the election. Well. And the next day he files for disability retirement, and I'm going, wait a minute, you were healthy enough to run for sheriff, but you lost.
He got his feelings were hurt.
How do you get a disability?
Yeah, it hurt.
His feelings are hurt. His disability. Tough guy. He doesn't have. His hands aren't registered weapons with FBI like ours are.
Couldn't comprehend that. I go to something. Am I the only one that sees something odd here?
I know a lot of fools that became cops. I'm sorry, I do, and I'm not perfect. I'm not the best one ever. I'm way down there, but I'm just saying I tried to do the right thing. And then all the overtime bullshit, just everything's trying to get overtime gigs, but they don't want to help me recover a car, or they want to help, but they'll take that overtime real fast.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, whatever. I laugh at the stories I see about SFPD, some of the overtime scandals and stuff like that. But
it's just that maybe a case like this is going to finally have some crackdown. But
I'll keep going.
And the penalty's pretty stiff on workers' comp fraud. They get some pretty stiff penalties. Right.
Okay, well, let's this happens a lot, actually, doesn't it? Let me let's keep. I fell behind here a little bit, so. Tony's looking for a job. I don't have anything. Tony, we didn't put you deep undercover.
He's a Niner fan. Good for him.
We're
good for you.
Raider stuff.
Las
A
Vegas Raiders.
26-year-old man.
Let's see. What we got.
Year-old man is pulled over for having the wrong.
We're coming here, guys. Hold on. Give me a second. Thank you, everyone. Bear with me.
Is that the Fairfax County?
I'm going to go to Michigan.
A 26-year-old man is pulled over for having the wrong license plate on his car. Things quickly escalate. Hey, stand.
And that, you guys know my gripe. That's a good cop. Yep. Wrong license plate. Pull that frigger.
Yep.
This is a sad story here.
Car. Stay in the car. Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English? Can I see your license?
What do you want?
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
Patrick Leoya, an immigrant from Africa, talks to someone in the passenger seat. He does not produce his license. Instead, he closes the door and walks away.
No. Stop.
No.
Stop. Transit.
Leoya starts running. The Grand Rapids, Michigan officer radios for help.
1915. Got one running. Wow.
The officer tackles him.
Okay. Dang.
Stop.
Leoya gets back on his feet, grabbing for the taser. You can hear it firing. They struggle for control of the weapon.
Let go of the taser. Drop the taser.
And it's at this point in the tape you can see the
approximately
officer reach for his
2:35 p.m.
firearm.
on April
He shoots
23rd,
Leoya
an
in the
officer
back
from the
of the
Fair Oaks
head,
District
killing
Station was
him.
conducting
You
traffic
see a police
enforcement in the
officer
4,000 block
escalate
Majestic Lane
a
near the
minor traffic stop into a deadly execution.
The killing is leading to a chorus of outrage in Grand Rapids.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
Hold on. Let's go back.
Traffic stop into
Point in the tape, you can see the officer reach for his firearm. He shoots Leoya in the back of the head, killing him.
You see a police officer escalate a minor traffic stop into a deadly execution.
The killing is leading to a chorus of outrage in Grand Rapids.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
Now, you can stop it there, Mark.
Some experts say they are troubled at what the video shows.
He pulls his taser.
Mark, the officer, the district attorney charged the officer with murder, and he went to trial, and the jury he got a hung jury. They couldn't agree on a verdict. So the district attorney, the last I heard, hasn't decided whether he's going to refile and retry him again. But the department terminated him.
Okay, so I remember seeing that before, and I remember I put on there, this is what I see from an officer's point of view. What I see is I pull up on a car, I got a plate that doesn't belong. What am I dealing with? Do I have a stolen vehicle? Is this guy a felon? What's the deal here? So it's my job. I have to figure this out. I'm trying to get ID. He's not cooperating. He opens the car door. I don't know who he's talking to in the car. I don't know what he's telling him. Now he tries to walk away. We don't have the option of just saying, okay, thank you, have a nice day, and let him walk away. We have a job to do. You got to stop that guy. Now he goes hands-on with the guy. Now, this officer is probably thinking, he still knows there's somebody in that car behind him. Well, he's dealing with this. And I've been in that situation where now people jump out of the car, and now you're fighting everybody. So he's got to think about that. He takes his taser out. He tries to do what everybody says. Well, why didn't you tase him? Why did they shoot him? Now they're struggling for the taser. Again, he's got to worry about this guy taking his taser. He tases him. What's going to happen? He's going to take my gun. He's going to shoot me. He's going to kill me. At this point, the officer has done everything he can do to stop the threat. And he made the decision that I'm not going to let this guy take my taser. I'm not going to let this guy incapacitate me. And I'm going to stay alive. And that's what he did. And that's what I saw based on that video.
Now, I watched the trial was televised. I watched portions of the trial, and to me it appeared to be the contention was a big part of the trial was the headshot, and they had competing experts as to whether or not that he should have shot him in the head, and the department's own use of force expert said, yeah, it was a perfectly legitimate shooting. And I again, it was just, it's the optics of police violence, even when it's justified, is not a pretty picture.
Right.
Okay. And if the head
like
was
what's her name that was shot by the
head was
Capitol
the only
police
target
officer.
that was available to him,
not
and
pretty,
that's
but true.
what he shot, then woe is the suspect.
He's not shooting to hurt the guy and wound the guy. You're shooting him to stop the threat.
Exactly.
And if my thing is I'm going to put this gun and I have to stop the threat, and I know that I'm going to have to shoot, I've made the decision that I'm going to shoot the guy. I'm not making the decision. I'm not going to shoot him in the toe and hope that slows him down, and then maybe shoot him in the kneecap. And no, that's not what you're trained. You're trained to shoot to stop the threat. And that was his target. That's what it was. He decided. And again, I wasn't there, but I can imagine being in that situation. You get pretty friggin' winded, and if you think you're about to lose the fight, and this guy's about to overpower you and get your taser, and then you're thinking, he takes my gun, he kills me, he kills whoever else. And again, we don't even know who this person in the car was. They never stipulated. I don't know if it was his girlfriend. I don't know if it was another guy. We don't know if that was a hostage. We don't know if it was a domestic violence situation. We don't know. And that's the same thing. All those things are going through that officer's mind at the same time as he's having to fight this idiot. So that guy would be alive today if he had just not resisted. He would be alive today. That officer did what he had to do to do his job and stay alive.
Yeah, I'm extremely disappointed that the district attorney just chose to prosecute her for murder.
Because it's like it's mob mentality. That's what it is. It's like they don't care at that point. It's like, let's just appease the mob.
The lynch mob.
The lynch mob. Let's just appease them. Okay, and we'll let them get judged in court.
Can you imagine if there was no body camera footage? There wouldn't be a hung jury at this point. It would just been the cops guilty of murder.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank God that there's body cam footage there, showing the fear that it helps back up the case. I'm sure the officers stating that he was in fear for his life, fear was going to happen, and that footage kind of sets that all up based on what's going down.
That guy looked like a pretty strong guy. He didn't look like he didn't look like he was going to be a pushover.
No, he didn't. He did not look like one. He ate a lot of salads.
No. and you don't know all the factors for what's going on with the passenger and stuff like that. But yeah, so these are the politics these departments have to play with as far as whatever reason they found firing that guy, and then within that community there, and a lot of the issues the community has to deal with. But it's just like we talked about, John, the January 6th stuff. Some people think that lady her family getting $6 million is justified. I say it was a good shoot. And I'm sorry, I'm a cop and a retired military person, or I'm a retired cop and former military person. I think it was a good shoot, because I think if it was flipped, if that lady, Ashley, whatever her name was, if she had been black and a member of Antifa, really, and that cop was white that shot her, that none of these people whining about it would be whining about it. It's an issue of
bottom line, when did we start
and race.
Ashley Babbitt was not a hero.
She was an insurrectionist.
Michael Brown was not a hero. Okay. David Koresh in Waco was not a hero. That other Timothy McVeigh was not a hero. They were not patriots. That's what I was trying to say. Patriots.
Right. Man, we just lost a bunch of viewers, man. Oh my God. See you later. Go watch your Jesse Waters or whatever.
She was not a patriot. She did not. Her family does not. Matter of fact, her family should be paying
it's just because of the politics of it, right? Yeah. I mean, but here's my point. 6 months earlier, there was protests on the Capitol grounds because of the George Floyd stuff, and they had overwhelming protection at the Capitol then. And I'm not saying some of those George Floyd protesters would have raided the Capitol if they had a chance. I've been around enough riots to know that there's always people that would do destruction if they can. Sure. But they had appropriate security at the Capitol to stop that this time. This time they didn't, because they're all white, and they're being egged on. They have some total insurrectionists in the crowd. You know, a lot of them have been pardoned now. Although all their military gear, all their tactical shit, walking in all these operator types. Hold on. And they went in this partisanship. It's partisanship. Yes, it's partisanship.
The mob was hunting the vice president to murder him.
Yes, that's
and
partisanship.
The Speaker of the House.
And so I know people who are cops that think, oh no, she was murdered by the police officers. It's like, I'm sorry, you would not be saying the same thing. The officers that I know that I'm talking to here, you would not be saying the same thing if she was black, really part of Antifa, not the made up stories.
Yeah.
And then the officer was white. And it was 6 months earlier during the George Floyd protest. You would not be saying the same thing. You would say it was a good shoot.
It was a good shoot. That officer was doing his job. He's
doing his job.
He's the one that should be getting the money. He's the one that was drugged through the mud on this.
Yeah.
He was the patriot doing his job, saving lives. You know,
right. Well, all of our viewers from Idaho, we just lost all our viewers from Idaho. All those retired cops with their fraud claims.
Bye.
All right, have your own podcast.
Hang on, they were looking for Mike Pence because they were just going to do it. They were just doing it.
God, who would have thought I would like Mike Pence?
They had the gallows built out front.
Oh, I'm not saying I like Mike Pence.
I'm an independent, man. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I never been. I
definitely don't think the guy deserved to be
sane here.
I don't think it deserved to be hung out in front of the Capitol.
Appreciate your service. If your family member gave his life on Memorial Day, thank you for not dodging the draft and serving this country. I do appreciate it. All right, so let's do one more here. Or what did you guys really want to talk about? Let's because
give me a second, Mark. Let me look at the stories.
I got this one here: attempted murder of officers out in Fairfax County.
Oh yeah. We should talk about that one.
What are we watching here? Because I don't have any audio on it, I guess.
Yeah, you're gonna need to move it up to the actual car stop.
And what's going on?
This is a routine traffic stop for I think an expired tag or something like that, expired license plate, registration or something.
They'd be stopping cars for.
12914 Fairleigh Parkway.
The driver is a Afghan refugee. He was a translator for American soldiers in Afghanistan,
and he is pissed.
And he's having a bad day. And this is one of those any fool can carry a gun state. So he's packing a gun, and he tells the officer as soon as the officer walks up, I'm open carry here. I got a gun.
Okay, I lost it because I lost track there. Hold on, I got to bring it back.
Yeah. So what happened?
All right, let me let the footage play out here a little bit, guys. So give me a second here. I want to hear what he says when he walks up to the guy.
Yeah. Sir, I have a gun and I'm armed. I'll let you know. So why did you pull me over? Your inspection sticker expired. Yeah, they know. Call Joe Biden or call George Bush. What's your driver's license? No, there's no. I don't have a driving license.
What did he say? Call George Bush?
Go back.
Yeah.
In the fucking car and leave.
He's just talking nonsense.
Doesn't work.
Hold on a second. I don't care. I don't care if you're Agent Orange Medal of Honor winner. You're not going to talk to a police officer like that.
Oh, keep listening.
Something legitimate.
Keep
My
listening.
God.
Keep listening.
No,
it gets better.
You're fucking killing me. You fucking people don't get a disability. Fucking, I have kids and I have a lot of fucking bullshit things. So why are you fucking treating me this way?
He says, today's the day. Today's the day.
Today's the day. Okay.
After he tells him he has a gun.
Can I get a supervisor to my location, please? You fucking dumbass.
So the officer's calling for backup.
So the cop's a dumbass. He's calling the cop a dumbass.
To my fucking country because of you fucking people. I started in fucking army. Every time you come and fucking me over, every time. Do you have the registration to the vehicle? Nothing. You got nothing? Nothing. All right. Yeah. And you don't want to give me your name? Sir, why? Look, hey, I died.
Yeah, that officer's in a horribly dangerous situation because of that law letting anybody carry a gun.
Yeah. So you brought me to you fucking people brought me to this goddamn country,
and I'm dying every fucking single day, and I have 4 children, and we wholly survive because you're a fucking racist people.
Okay.
Because of what?
Because I can't get a job. I can't get a disability.
We only
You
survive
can't get
because
a
of what?
job. I can't get disability.
But you're not under the rule of the Taliban now, are you?
Well, I don't know. Let it keep going. This guy's.
And they took my fucking license because I'm not able to pay the insurance. So why are you fucking trying to kill me?
I'm not trying to kill you.
Oh, he's obviously okay. I don't know how this plays out. Okay, we're taking some sort of mental episode here. Is that what's happening, or?
Well, it just continues. If you want to fast forward,
I don't give a damn fuck.
Subject's armed, refusing to give ID.
How far up should I go?
Don't reach for anything.
Just a little bit, just so his backup his backup gets there.
Don't play that bullshit.
So you don't have a registration to the vehicle?
You can move it up a little bit more, Mark.
Listen, you're American, okay?
Yes.
Yes, you are American.
Uh-huh.
I give you my fucking, what do you call that shit? Take it. They took my driving license.
So they took it away?
So he's frustrated. The cops letting him talk about his frustration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's buying time, waiting for his backup to get there.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh.
He shot both officers on the driver's side in their gun hand.
Shots fired. Listen, American. This is take it. I take this with you, okay? No. Hey, no.
Whoa, no. He's.
Hey, so listen, American. This is take it. I take this with you, okay?
So now you want to give me that?
Hey, don't you reach it?
Okay, so I'm gonna.
I take this with you, okay?
So now you want to?
No. Hey, don't you reach it?
So here, let's just leave it here. We'll leave that frame up here. And again, I don't know. This is in what state are we in right now?
Fairfax, Virginia.
Okay.
Look on his belt.
Is there any certification for the gun at all? Is he allowed? Now I don't know, Steve. So like in North Carolina, the kid just had to get a permit to carry, take classes to get a CCW. Did this person have to go through anything like that?
I have no idea.
Right.
We don't know.
And there's obviously some issues going on in his head. Obviously some sort of war veteran here, right?
He's having a bad day.
He's obviously upset. He says he can't get a job. I got 4 kids and I can't, you took my license, and obviously he lost his license. And I don't know what, his immigration status is, if he was given citizenship when he came here.
Only if you're South African.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did I say that? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, or you're a genius.
Okay.
If you're a genius,
okay.
We give you a genius.
Right.
Yeah.
Genius visa.
Yeah. So obviously, basically, this officer, as you could see when he walks up to the car, and the guy immediately tells him, "Hey, look, I got a gun." So that officer right away is like, okay, all right, he's got a gun. I'm not, I'm going to call for my fill, get them over there. And, again, we don't know what the legality, whether he's allowed to have the gun or not. Obviously, he thinks he is. So the officer's biding his time, waiting for his fills to show up.
Right.
And when the officers get there, we can clearly see, obviously, in the video and on the body cam footage, this guy just decided that I'm going to take these officers out.
And when you're dealing with the training that my department started and all the agencies in California started in the 2000s there, the late part of the teens there, was, we're getting more and more training to deal with people that are having a mental episode. And, part of it is to hear them out, listen, emphasize with them what they may be going through and listen to their story. If they think someone's in the car with them or imagining person, you get asked questions about that imagining person. Don't make fun of them. Don't even dispute them. Just let them talk and try to engage in dialogue here. But again, I'm going to be like, why is this person allowed to carry like that? With that type of, I would know on this. Was there any other indications prior to this that he was going to be trouble and they still allowed him to be issued a gun or be able to carry a gun.
Yeah,
right?
but in a lot of these states, they got rid of all the red flag laws to figure all that out.
I wonder how the officers involved in this shooting feel about those type of laws, if that's true. And I don't know, guys. I don't know enough about the Virginia laws to say what it's just anybody can get a gun. Everyone, because I thought it was that way in North Carolina, and I was wrong. So you know, I don't know what's going on here in the background, but you know.
But I was thinking too, the dangerous situation, the officer on the other side who ends up shooting the guy. Luckily, he didn't end up shooting the other officer on the other side too at the same time, because a lot of bullets started flying at that point. You know, it's I mean, if you know the guy, first of all, one of the things I know talking from a lot of the officers now, like I was talking to an Oakland officer, they can't even take their guns out of their holsters without having to write. They got to write paper. They got to write memos why they pulled their gun. And some of the departments I heard, they're actually putting electronic devices on their holster so they know if they pull it out. And I'm like, oh man, I would have been writing a lot of paper because I told Steve, I walked up to every car stop with my weapon behind my leg. And until I figured until I knew that I was in a good situation. But nobody ever knew I had my gun out.
Unless you were on a car stop with me and you saw that I rolled up next to you and you're like, oh, I'm safe, Mark.
That's ridiculous. You know, we've been down this road before. When I first started, we used to have masking tape around the shotgun, and you had to write a memo if you broke the masking tape and racked the shotgun. And after the some notorious shootings where police officers were killed, they started, departments started dropping those ridiculous memo requirements. And I'm looking at Virginia's open carry law. It says Virginia is an open carry state, meaning individuals can openly carry firearms without a permit, provided they're at least 18 years old and not prohibited from having a firearm.
Okay. Well, I guess states voted to do that. I believe in the well-regulated militia, and I think that some training should come with it and some regulations should come with it.
And
so
the fact
15-day waiting period, 10-day waiting period nationwide would be good. That's my opinion, guys.
Yeah. And I don't mean to be critical of the officer's tactics, but I mean, based on this guy's demeanor, having a gun, I would have had my gun out, pointed at him, and told him not to flinch up, not to be.
But see, again, we don't know, because where we are in California, when we were police officers, if somebody had a gun, then my gun points is going to be pointed at you until I feel that I am safe. But nowadays, with the open carry laws and they're allowed to carry a gun, I mean, there's a lot of people that when I was working, they would have been getting dusted off because I would have been proning them out on the ground. I mean, my officer safety would have been number one. But here, because like I said, I don't understand. Now, I think the officer was doing a good job, kept them engaged in a conversation, keep them up, I don't know if the officer is right-handed or left-handed, but I noticed he was holding his radio in his right hand while he was talking. So if he is right-handed, that's his gun hand. So, but again, I'm not going to be critical because I don't know if the officer is right-handed or left-handed.
In this day and age, like Scott was telling me that I would have been accused of, how did you say it, Scott? Forcing a confrontation because I pointed my gun at him.
That's some of the backlash that's going on about this, and you're seeing a shift to the middle and a lot of politics, even California or to the right, that we're going to back off on some of these ridiculous things that we have to adhere to these days that made some people vote the way they voted, right? So, hopefully we're going to find a balance here of how to do this. When I go into Oakland to recover a car, Vallejo, stuff like that, I'm armed, and believe me, I am ready for something. And I was just at a case where I interviewed a guy, and the next day he was jumped by 3 people right at the same spot I was at the next morning, and robbed. So when I go to these cases, I realize, and I got my head on a swivel, and I still to this day work Oakland and Vallejo by myself. If I'm lucky, Carmen goes with me. But other than that, you got to be prepared. But again, not every fool should be carrying a gun that easily. They take like the kid that snuck the gun into the Garlic Festival a few years ago, went and bought it from some dude's house in Nevada, and then snuck it into California. Well, why is he allowed to buy a gun legally for some dude's house in Nevada? That is ridiculous. Right? I'm sorry. That, my opinion, not well regulated. I will say that. So,
but I want to clear something here to Stephen Michael when I said I walked up to cars with my gun out. Most of my car stops, yes, I profiled cars and I pulled people over. I wasn't looking to write stupid tickets and bald tires. I was looking to get.
I saw a lot of it. Infinity G5, those Infinities spinning out their bald tires and causing wrecks.
So anyway, I was looking for the good stuff, and most of my car stops, I was looking for guns. I was looking for weapons and dope. And I work primarily at night. And when you walk up to a car and the windows are all tinted, and it's kind of, you don't know what's in that car. I would walk up and I'd keep that pillar. I'd make sure that the person had to turn their head back to me, not me walk up to the side of the car. I mean, there was a lot of things you do. And yeah, I would walk out until I knew that I was safe. I'd have my gun. I would have my gun out.
Can you imagine now? One of those Instagram channels will be following you around San Jose and they go, look at Officer Sergeant Castrina. He's getting ready to execute people walking with his gun behind you. And that's how it would be perceived, right?
Look, if I just had mama in a minivan blow a stop sign and I pull her over to give her a warning, because that's probably what I would do, because I was not big on writing people tickets. I'm not going to walk up to mama in the minivan with my gun out. Okay. So I wanted to clarify that if I walked up to a car and I didn't feel safe right away walking up to that car, yes, I had my gun out. Sometimes I had my gun out when I would be at family disturbances and I was the fill officer and I'm standing over off to the side and a bunch of stuff's going on. I'm sitting there. I have my hand on my gun or I have it out. And if I'm afraid that something, until I know that we're safe, that's my job. And I don't see a problem with that. Now my finger's not on the trigger. If you're wondering, I understand how to hold a gun, and I never shot myself. Not once. One time did I ever shoot myself.
So many guys have shot themselves in the butt and everything else. Like, what the hell? It's like,
yeah, I remember for years that we had a one locker in the locker room. Remember when the locker in the police garage there that had a hole in it? They never replaced the door.
You're right, Eastside Tony. I did not want to die.
Yeah, right.
I had something to live for.
I think we got coming up an hour, 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. But man, we had a great showing tonight. Eastside Tony, let's see, Stephen Jordan, thank you, sir. Rewired, Frank, we think we lost you. Frank was there with us earlier.
We lost Frank.
I don't know. He was there for a little bit. He's probably still watching. Carmen's here watching the whole thing over here next to me.
Hi, Carmen.
Yep, says hi. And guys, thanks a lot. We had a lot going on. And remember, you can find me at Stolen 911. Just Google Stolen 911. I'm a private investigator specialized in theft, retired CHP officer. And if you don't like what I thought about the motorcycle rider, I hope he's okay. But no, he's at fault and you need to slow down. And then Scott and Steve run fugitive.com. You can find them at fugitive.com. Also on social media at Fugitive Watch. And
no, he's not.
No, who's what? No record.
I said, no, he's not at fault.
Not at fault. He's totally at fault. Oh my God. So,
hey, Mark, the other thing I wanted to bring up real quick on Instagram, if you haven't had a chance, go check out our Instagram page. You got to watch this one video I posted yesterday. I'm checking right now. It's over 13 million views. I posted it yesterday.
I took the Instagram link down already, but yeah. Okay. Check it out. Fugitive Watch on Instagram. And then Steve, I want to remember everybody is guilty, correct?
Correct. No, we want to remind all of our followers on any of the fugitive use, any of our platforms are to be considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. And do not make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them. If you recognize any of these fugitives, call our hotline at 1-800-9-CALL or send us a tip at tips@fugitive.com.
All right. Hey, to our friends in Idaho, when you sneak back to the state, you don't tell.
Yeah.
We'll still hang out with you. Don't worry. We'll still like you.
No,
I bring those.
I haven't missed them. I haven't missed them this whole time, and I know what they've become. I don't think I'm going to hang out with them.
I know some cool ones in Idaho. Don't get me wrong.
I know
I've visited there a couple times.
I know they're enjoying those fat California pensions they got.
That's right. Can you imagine that state with all that California money pouring into it? They wouldn't be able. None of those states would be able to survive.
No.
So thank God California, the fourth largest economy of the world, gets to provide those cool pensions out there. In Montana and Idaho.
And
right?
we can lane split here.
We can lane split here. Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Have a safe week. We got summer coming up, and we'll be around. And we're still looking for Eastside Tony to find us a bar on the east side for Scott. Steve's going to hang out with Eastside Tony on the east side at a bar, and then Scott and I will just FaceTime in. But bye, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.